Uh, just the
I can also
speaker.
keep the chat up.
Yeah, on the recording, it's only you, Eric. So it's not, the view is only you. So nobody's gonna be like, if nobody's gonna get their face recorded, but their voice may get recorded.
And I have the chat up if anybody wants to ask a question through there.
Perfect.
I'm glad your 10-year-old daughter benefited from the first presentation. Thank you for that feedback. For the person who mentioned that in the chat. Okay, guys, I'm going to go ahead and get started because it seems like, is that all right, Eddie?
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Let's get started.
Okay. Yeah. Seems like there's less ding dong. So I think hopefully most of the people are here. The one that we're going to start with is the banana split yogurt parfait. So anyone who is doing that, please follow along. If you're doing both, that's really ambitious of you, and that's great. We'll do the second one afterwards. So maybe some of you who aren't doing the recipe right now can participate with asking questions and answering some questions if you have any. But the first thing we're going to do is actually turn our stove on, okay? So let's put our stove to medium heat. So it's ready for the banana. Then we'll grab our banana. Okay. And you can cut this in half. Does anybody remember from the first presentation when bananas might be helpful to have? When's a good time to have a ripe banana? You can turn your microphone on and answer that, or put it in the chat. If you remember, I used ripe bananas as an example to have at a certain time. So while you're thinking about that, we can go ahead and take our banana and put it in our pan. Okay, so we're just going to make it brown. Okay. I'm going to turn mine up just a little bit to get things going a little faster. Okay, so I'm between medium and high heat. See some chats coming in. You need energy before competition or practice. Yeah, so before competition or practice or race is when you need energy and when you need quick energy. And ripe bananas are digested very quickly relative to other fruits. So they can be an easy way to get in that quick energy, get in carbohydrate without having it sit in your stomach for too long. So let's go ahead and grab yogurt. I've gotten mine out yet. I forgot to measure my yogurt, but I believe it's a cup. It doesn't really matter too much. So I'm going to go ahead and just eyeball this yogurt. Why might we be having I'll come back to that question, but what's important about having the Greek yogurt in this snack? What does it have the benefit of? Protein, exactly. One of the best things about Greek yogurt as a source of protein is that it's really nutrient dense. It's really high in calcium, one of the highest sources of calcium in most people's diets if they consume Greek yogurt. And it's really high in other minerals as well. And also probiotics. So these beneficial bacteria that are health promoting. Now somebody asked a raw banana then. It can be raw, it can be cooked. Either one is still going to be absorbed quickly. So go ahead and have it raw or cooked. Most people eat their bananas raw. This is just one case where we're having it cooked. So I'm going to go ahead and flip my banana now. I have a grill pan, which is kind of helpful. It gets those nice grill marks on it. Although, still needs a bit more time. I'll leave it at that temperature though. So I have my bowl of Greek yogurt here. All right, now let's add the oats and the cinnamon. I also forgot to get out the oats. I hope you guys are better prepared than I am. It's been a really busy weekend for me. I have this presentation today. I have a presentation tomorrow. I had a presentation due today. And I also have a presentation due on Monday. So extremely busy weekend over here. All right. I have my oats. I'm going to eyeball a couple of tablespoons. Put it into my yogurt. Oats are a source of what? Primarily carbs, exactly. And they're a whole nutrient dense source of carbohydrates that you could have on a regular basis. And again, won't only give you carbohydrates, but also other nutrients, including fiber, which helps slow down the absorption of those carbohydrates and gives you more stable energy levels across the day. Now, it's not always something that you want to consume before training. Some people might be fine with it, and if you are, that's fine, that's great, you can have them. But other people might find that it sits in their stomach a little bit too long, so they would want to have it at another time away from training. Okay. So I'm going to add my chia to my yogurt now. So far we have the yogurt, we have the oats, and I'm adding the chia seeds. Okay. It's a good whole seed and primarily a source of fat. And if you left these in the yogurt long enough, then they'll start to absorb fluid and they'll become much larger balls. And the only thing that's kind of a downfall about chia seeds is they get stuck in your teeth really easily. All right. So I can smell my banana now. So it's definitely cooking. I'm going to flip it one more time. All right. Because it is nicely browned on one side. I'll give you guys a shot as best as I can. So you can see my bananas there, nicely browned. That's about where we want it. I'm just going to brown the other side as well. Okay. In the meantime, what we can do is we can take our nut butter, and it's really any nut butter of your choice. Peanut butter is the most common, but I actually have hazelnut butter here. I recently made my mom some protein bars. I made them for Christmas, and her favorite nut butter is hazelnut butter. So I made a protein bar using hazelnut butter. Okay, so we're going to take just a little bowl and we will put our peanut butter into here. Or your nut butter, whatever it is. And that's one thing that you can get creative with and can add variety to your meals is having a different nut butter. You know, you don't always have to have peanut butter. Have almond butter sometime. Have pistachio butter. There's all these different nut butters now that you can find in the grocery store. And then you can find even more at some of those health food stores. They'll often have even more selection of different nut and seed butters. Good way to mix up the flavor of things and also the taste. Yeah, I really enjoy almond butter too. It's one of my favorites. Okay. So we're going to put the peanut butter and the chocolate chips together. Okay. We'll microwave that soon. But it looks like this is almost done. You know what? I'm gonna grab something here. I'm gonna grab a different bowl. Just because I want mine to look nice for you guys. So let's go ahead and let's mix in our chia seeds and our oats to our peanut butter. Oh, sorry, into our Greek yogurt. Okay. And these are our three really main sources of the macronutrients right here that we're having from this meal or snack. Okay. Chia seeds are the source of fat, although I guess the nut butter is a pretty high source of fat as well. And then the Greek yogurt is our source of protein, primarily, and where most of the protein is coming from. And then the oats are where most of our carbohydrates are coming from, but there's a good amount from the fruit as well. There's another benefit of these berries. First, to answer that question, this is fantastic for breakfast. It's a delicious breakfast and it's super nutritious. All right, so my bananas are looking nice and browned now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to carefully place them in. One of them broke in half, but that's okay. Tends to happen. I might place them in a way where I want them in quarters anyways. So I'm going to try and get fancy here, make it actually look like a banana split. I'll help myself out by just sliding this onto the cutting board. Turn off the stove. Don't put anything on your stove. Should never put anything on the stove ever, just so that you get in the habit of that, so you don't accidentally put something on when it's hot one day. Okay, and I'm gonna place it this way, make it look kind of nice. All right, so I put my banana, I mean, it looks kind of funny, but I put my banana like that for now. Okay, and then next, so we're gonna take our berries and put these on top. And just remember, I was about to ask you a question before. The berries, what are they high in that we talked about the other day? That's good for recovery. Berries especially are really high in these. All right, so that's how mine looks. Antioxidants, that's right. Good. Okay. Now, we're going to take our nut butter and our chocolate chips. We're going to microwave them. I don't remember how long. My original recipe said to microwave it. I don't have it in front of me. So I'm just going to start with 20 seconds. What we want to do is we just want that to be liquidy enough that we can pour it over top. And yes, berries are also high in fiber, which is great. It's not the best time of year for berries. Actually, at this time of year, they're coming furthest away from us. So I actually need about another 10 seconds, I think. Depends on how powerful your microwave is. If you find that the chocolate chips and the chocolate was part of the recipe, Eddie. Gotta have the chocolate, man. So if you find the chocolate chips and the nut butter are still too hard and not liquidy where you can pour it, then put it back in the microwave for a little bit. You know what? You could have dark chocolate, you could have milk chocolate, whatever. This part of the recipe is just for enjoyment and flavor. It's a small amount. We're prioritizing nutrition here with the berries, the Greek yogurt, the banana, the chia seeds, lots of nutrition. Adding a small amount of chocolate to this just for some flavor, nothing wrong with that. It's just adding a little bit of flavor to it. Even though we're prioritizing nutrition overall, it's a really nutritious snack or breakfast. So I'm just going to kind of pour it, drizzle it over. All right. Got a little bit left there, but I think it looks pretty nice. So that's it. Looks all fancy right now, but feel free to mix yours up. You can mash the banana into it, mix in the chocolate and the peanut butter, or have it as it is. I'm going to try it how it is right now. How are your guys coming along? Can someone tell me? Mine's freaking delicious. I don't know about you. I hope so. Anyone else there? Did anybody else make this with me, or are you just watching? Awesome. Good to read, Eddie. Glad you're both enjoying it. Great snack for the kids. Seriously, if she enjoys this at the age of 4, that's really good. And is that with or without chocolate, Eddie? With. Good. With lots. That's all right. At young ages, it is better for the kids to have the nutrients than not. So I often encourage parents to use whatever they need to get them their nutrients. If that means putting some chocolate on the fruit so that they'll eat the fruit and the berries, that's the way to go. Same thing with vegetables. If that means cooking it in oil and seasoning it, good. If that means using dips, good. That's how most people start to like things like fruits and vegetables, especially at young ages. And then as they get older, then you start to become more open to less of that in most cases. All right. So I'm going to move on now to the next snack. Also realize some parents might be interested in this, is that kids are very good at adapting to different intakes of essentially calories or energy, where they are much better at burning off excess and conserving if they are deficient. And they're much better than that than adults are. So having a surplus of calories is much less of a concern for children than it is for adults. And usually that's the main reason that some people are, they don't want to include the dip, so they don't want to include the chocolate, but it really shouldn't be too much of a concern for the vast majority of children. All right, guys, so I'm going to set that aside for washing. I'm going to take one more bite of this delicious mixture. I'm going to move on to the next one. Okay. Moving on to the apple crisp yogurt parfait. So both yogurt parfaits today. I wanted to give people the option between the two, and they're often pretty quick and really nutritious. So first thing I'm going to do is prepare my yogurt again. So I'll put that in the bowl. I'm a nicer. No, that's all right. Spray will be good. Right. And again, I'm just eyeballing my Greek yogurt here. This one's my favorite, by the way. I do like the banana one, but my favorite's the apple one. It's not even because I like apples more than bananas. I wouldn't say that. I just happen to like this whole recipe together as it is a lot. So got my yogurt ready. All right. Now what I'm going to do is mix the apple, the lemon, the sugar, the cinnamon, and the nutmeg. Right. So grab a smaller bowl for that. What I say? The apple. Okay. And it is best with quite a small apple. And then if you have too much, just eat the rest of the apple. To be honest, I had a big apple, so I only used 3/4 of it, and then I ate the other quarter. But that's a pretty good amount right there. Okay. About 3/4, half to 3/4 of a cup. So apple, now lemon, teaspoon, which happens to be a lid of one of these, approximately. All right, there. The sugar, again, just like the chocolate, adding a little bit of something for enjoyment so that we look forward to having these items. Nothing wrong with a little bit. Okay. Sugar. Cinnamon. Cinnamon also happens to be very high in phytonutrients. That has beneficial effects. In addition to just being delicious. And nutmeg. Very much so like a wintry recipe, wintry, or I guess fall as well. I'll just give a sprinkle of cinnamon there. Light sprinkle, because nutmeg. Light sprinkled nutmeg, because nutmeg can be a really strong flavor otherwise. I think I got everything. We're just gonna mix that up. A little spoon. Give it a mix. Okay, make sure it's really well coated. Now I know we're using a lot of Greek yogurt here. I think I've asked this question before, but just again to get you guys thinking, what are some other good options for protein or for snacks and for breakfast as a protein source? I see some answers in the chat so we can be reminded. Right. So we got this mixed up. Now let's go ahead and we're going to microwave this as well. Make it warm. It's like the last one. I'm going to start with 20 seconds. In the meantime, you can prepare honey and yogurt. Yes, cheese, milk. Yeah. So peanuts are okay, and nuts are okay. They're higher in fat than they are in protein. So I often suggest have the nuts, have the nuts, have the peanuts, whatever, the seeds. And they definitely count the amount of protein that's in there, but them alone is not going to be enough to get you all the protein that you need in most cases. So I often say try to have a try to have a source of protein that is predominantly protein as well. Okay, so mine needs probably another 20 seconds. We just want it soft. We want it soft and we want it to be warm. I'll show you what mine looks like after. Avocado would be a source of fat as well. Again, very nutritious source of fat. So we should have it when it's a good option with our meals, but it's not where we want to go for our protein. It's quite low in protein, actually. Yep, eggs are a great option for snacks, for breakfast. One thing that's nice about eggs too is you hard boil them. They're really easy to take with you and have on hand. So mine's actually steaming. It's a bit softer to it. And you can see that it's more wet as well. So warming it up has drawn some of the water out of the apple. I haven't put Greek yogurt yet. Okay. And before we add this to the Greek yogurt, we're actually going to mix the honey with it. Okay. And this is optional. We did already have the brown sugar. So if somebody were to choose some protein powder instead, if they need more protein, then go ahead. For most of you young athletes, swimmers, you could probably use the extra carbohydrates. Yeah, we're getting lots of nutrients from the Greek yogurt, the apple, and now the honey. It's really not that nutrient dense, even though it's something that occurs naturally, but it does add fuel to our day, right? So again, focusing on the nutrients, prioritizing that, and then adding some other sources that are mainly just for enjoyment, but also extra fuel. Okay. So I've got this honey, the hard honey. It would be better to have the liquid honey. But what I'll do is I'm still just going to mix it in with the Greek yogurt and I'll just mash it into there. All right. Really stir it in. And then once I get the other ingredients and stir them in, that'll help mix the honey in there better as well. Yeah, when we're thinking about snacks, we got to think about what our priorities are too. If yours is taste, then give some thought to taste. If you really enjoy honey and or chocolate or whatever, maybe find a way to incorporate that. Or if yours is just being very quick, you want something fast, then maybe you don't care so much about all of these different ingredients. Maybe for you, it's just fruit, Greek yogurt, out the door. Okay. Depends on what your priorities are. That's something I always talk about with my clients is what's the challenge that they're facing right now that's getting in the way of them eating more nutritiously. Because in a lot of cases, people know what they should be doing more. They know they should be having more vegetables. They know they should be having more fruit. There's almost always something standing in the way. And it takes analyzing that, asking why are you not eating more vegetables? Figuring out what that is, and then asking how to get around that. Not just saying, well, I'll do it next week. Oh, hopefully next week is better. I just need to eat more vegetables. That doesn't usually work. We got to figure out why we're not, and then strategize around how to make it happen. Okay, so now we're going to add the apple mixture to our yogurt. Oh man, this looks good. Okay, so we can stir that in. And so this is how mine's looking. Smells good. Hopefully yours does too. All right. And like I said, you could add a little bit of graham cracker on top. Maybe it's granola, maybe it's just oats. I happen to have some oatmeal chocolate chip cookies in the cupboard, so I'm just going to use half of one, and I'm just chop it up small. Okay. So chopped up my oatmeal chocolate chip cookies. Or you can use graham cracker, and it gives it that nice texture, that nice crunch, Again, some adults are watching this and they're interested. They say, that seems like quite a bit of sugar for me. Maybe you just use oats. That's totally fine. For some of the young swimmers, though, you guys need fuel. Okay, so if you want to have this, again, this is a nutrient dense, great source of fuel. All right. That's how mine looks. Yeah, would be good for race day. Again, be careful of the timing. And maybe it's not something you want to have right before a race, because this will generally be something that would be slow digesting. But if you're 2 hours away, some of you 1 hour away will be enough, and it doesn't cause you to feel weighed down, doesn't cause you any cramps, that's when you should have it. Definitely, because it has that source of carbohydrates and protein, so it would be a good time, good to have between heats and finals. All right, well, moment of truth. I love this one. Honestly, I think it's better with graham cracker. It gives that nicer texture. The oatmeal cookies are a bit too soft. It's my first time trying it with that. But it's still really good. Has anybody else done that one? Anybody follow along? Delicious, good. 10 out of 10. All right, excellent. Glad to hear it. All right, excellent. Hope you guys aren't just saying that. But these are examples. And I'll tell you a great spot to find recipes too. Good. A great spot to find recipes is good old trusty Pinterest. And use keywords when you're thinking about it. You know, if you want to use apples for a snack, say apple snack recipes. If you want something quick, add quick apple snack recipes, simple apple snack recipes, right? Few ingredients, apple snack recipes. And Pinterest, I find, is even better than Google for picking up those keywords and giving really good options. Okay. But you guys know, as far as what you're looking for when you have a meal or snack, you're looking for that source of carbohydrates. You're looking for that source of protein. If it's really close to training or competition, maybe you want something that's faster digesting and you're not as worried about the nutrient content of it at that time. So if you have something like protein powder, which at least you're having the protein, doesn't have much other nutrients in it, fine. If you're just having the banana, fine. At least you're having that fuel source. The other times away from training, we want to choose options that are slower digesting, which also tend to be the options that are really high in nutrients. Okay, so those whole foods, whole grains, and ones that you might not think about, like these oats. And just as a little quick tip too, rolled oats, large flake oats, they're just as fast, honestly, as minute oats or quick oats, and they're way more nutritious. Most people don't even notice that much of a difference between the two. So go with rolled oats or large flake oats rather than minute or quick oats. Okay, they're going to be more nutrient dense. If you have time, you can go with steel cut oats, which even have more nutrients in them, but they'll take longer to cook, right? But as I was saying, that whole grains, starchy vegetables, whole fruits, those are the types of things you want to have at the other times of the day. Think things like quinoa too, farro, barley. What else is out there? Buckwheat. You can do kiwis, squash. Trying to name some that people don't think about very often, but can add more variety to your diet that are really nutrient dense. I think I've done enough talking now. If people's hands aren't too busy and mouths aren't too full, I'd love to hear any questions that you might have, if you have any, while we enjoy these together.
That was great. Thank you, Eric. Yeah, guys, if you have any questions, ask away now. We have Eric for a few more minutes here. And man, I wish we could do more of these.
Yeah.
Get some good recipes.
Yeah. Well, the nice part is the product, right?
Yes.
A little bonus at the end.
Yeah. I also wanted to just remind, Eric is available for, all kinds of services, coaching, and consultations. Yeah. And a consultation is free, right, Eric?
That's right.
The first meeting.
Yeah. So the initial call is free. We talk about the services. If you decide to move forward with a plan or coaching where we move forward together and we're working together, that's when the cost comes into play. But if you're thinking about it, just take advantage of that initial call. Don't worry. Happy to have it and chat about what your nutrition would look like and get crystal clear on what your goals should be and how and making them, realistic.
Yeah. And as I said before, nutrition, I remember I tell my swimmers this all the time. I remember the one year there was 1 year in my swimming career where I ate almost the same thing every day, but it was good. And it was bland, but it was good stuff. Right. Maybe I overdid it because that burned me out a little bit, but it was I felt the difference that year. It was my best swimming year ever. So cannot stress enough how important nutrition is, especially as you're growing right now. So I highly recommend it, guys. If you have
It's
the
a major
opportunity,
opportunity.
you know, we're lucky to have Eric here. Yeah. Sorry, Eric, what were you gonna say?
No, I just said it's a major opportunity, but I just wanted to speak to your example there about how you eat the same thing every day. And some people might think, that seems like something that might work for me. If I had these go-to options that I just had almost every day or every day, as long as there's enough variety in the day, then that's fine. And that can really make things timely and convenient and not take much energy, because eventually you'll be making those foods. You're not even thinking about it, because
Yeah,
it's
that's what it
just
was.
automatic as you go through the day.
Yeah.
And you don't have to spend time looking up recipes or whatever. And then there's going to be other people though that hear that and they're like, oh my God, the same thing every day. That's not for me. I would never
No.
want to do that, you know? And that's what I'm talking about with different priorities. For you, it might be that you do need that variety and you do want different tastes and things like that. And those are important components of how to make things happen as well.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, I want to know that. Yes, it was hard for me. But it was, I was in university, but I think there's, like, I just wanted to share that because I was in university, I had no time. So everything was prepared, preset already. So it was like literally come in, put it in, boom, boom, eat, go. Right. But if I had the chance to, or the knowledge to change the variety, I think just the consistency really helped. I mean, it was very, very noticeable. It was my third year of university. So I just place a lot of value in it. I think just as a society, generally, we don't pay enough attention what we put into our bodies.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say another thing. It's hard to find someone who is very specialized in sports like Eric.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to find. I've been doing this for over 10 years now, and Eric's the first person who's very specialized that I found. So that is also, I find lucky that I know Eric.
Yeah.
So,
thanks, Eddie.
anyways.
Well, I mean, trying to do yourself is near impossible these days. I don't understand how people navigate the internet with how much misinformation is out there that looks legit. It's crazy how like incentivizing things can be and how sensational they are. And they can look science-based and they're not. So it's dangerous waters on the internet.
Yeah, it can be. I'm saying that because I know that, certainly me as a swimmer, as a coach too, I remember like I was a little bit anxious over like, am I eating right? Like, am I eating it right? And the more you do this, the more high performant, the more elite you get to, the more you're going to be concerned with that. Right. So I know that is something that the families are thinking about. And me as a dad now, me too, same concern. Yeah. So.
No, that's great, Eddie. I find that a lot of people say something similar to that to me. A lot of clients will say one of their main goals and one of the things that's actually been holding them back is that they just want to be sure that they're taking the most efficient route for them. They want to know that what they're doing is the right thing specifically for them. And sometimes that leaves them paralyzed, not doing anything at all.
Right.
Because they don't know and they don't want to spend time and energy doing something that might not be the right thing for them. So that's a big part of this too, is just making sure we give people the confidence in what they're doing to move forward.
Someone asked, how do we contact you? I don't think I have I have Eric's contact. But Eric has a pretty good website too, right, Eric?
Yeah, so you can check out Unlocked Fitness and Nutrition online. But we can always send an email too, right, Eddie, with my
I can always send it out. If you just reach out to me, Eddie@ixswimming.ca. You guys all know my email, and I'm happy to connect you with Eric.
Yeah.
Okay.
For sure.
All right.
I'm not sure if you have my email address from the from the ingredients for this workshop, but
Right. Oh yeah,
Back from
I
there.
share that with everybody. I share that with everyone. So you should have from the email that I sent some days ago.
yeah,
No, it was
might
on
not.
Monday. It was on Monday night or Tuesday morning. It was when I sent it. You should have all these contacts there. So
Mm.
okay.
All right.
If you
Well,
don't have
thank-
any questions, guys,
Yeah, feel free to ask away if there's anything. Hope you're just busy enjoying your snacks.
yeah. Yeah. I think you touched on a lot on some questions I had because I know this is going to be a recording and people are going to be listening to it. But you
Good.
did made some comments on things like, I mean, the common questions are always that, you know, you mentioned use days to eat to get people to eat or to get the kids to eat more stuff. Because concerns are like, you know, if you don't like what you have to eat or if you don't have the time to eat what you have to eat, that's a big one too, because especially at the higher levels, when you start having like we go to bed at 8 o'clock and then we have, or sorry, even later than that, 9 or 9:30, and then we have to wake up at 4:30 for practice.
Yeah,
That's always, you know,
exactly.
a late snack. Like this seems to be, I feel like the banana one is light enough for a later snack. No, maybe
Light enough for a later snack?
a later snack, like later, like maybe like after practice, because we finish at like
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah,
Yeah.
both of these would be great for after practice for
Mhm.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Mhm. And options sometimes that are really quick in the morning could be an overnight oats or something like that. You can find overnight chia puddings, overnight oats, overnight parfaits. And that means you make it the day before, it sits in the fridge and it gets better overnight. So it's ready to go in the morning. Yeah.
yeah, okay. Sorry, my daughter was just there. All right. Well, guys, if you do have questions later on, just again, I can connect you with Eric. Just reach out to me and we'll make that happen. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you everyone who attended. Appreciate you being here. And like we said, don't hesitate to reach out for questions or that initial meeting. Be happy to meet you.
Cool stuff.
All right.
Well, I'll
We'll be
see
in
you guys
touch.
later. I'll see you guys on deck. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Eric. Thank you, Eddie.
Yeah, no problem, Toby. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Eric, can you wait for
Okay.
1 minute? I want to just chat with before you go.
Sure.
1 second. This is Mila.
Hi, Mina.
Hi.
Did you enjoy the snacks?
Yeah, she likes that. She likes those are perfect for her because she's a picky eater, man. So what was gonna so for the hang on a second, I'm gonna remove this guy because I know that he had to leave. And 1 second. Okay, so for the let me just go. Sorry, I was just trying to get rid of everybody because this is the
Yeah. You want the individual meetings?
yeah, that's what I was gonna ask.
Yeah.
Uh
Yeah, I felt like that was like something that we're supposed to talk about, so I didn't bring it up. I was like-
no, especially because there were some people there that are, I mean, the people that were there were good. They were not too bad. So, anyways, you know what? I'll let you go. We'll leave it for. I'll wait for your email. I'll look at it and then I'll ask whatever questions I have. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No problem. That would probably be better.
Yeah.
And like I said, you know how busy I've been, so this week should be clearing up for me. It's just been insane.
Sounds good. No problem.
All right.
Thank you, Eric. Have a good day. Bye.
Yeah. Have a great rest of your weekend.